Hello, and welcome to Dating Across the Aisle with Jyl and Pete.
Hello, how's it going?
How was your week?
It's been good and bad. I took a trip to New York, and so there was some
Oh,
jet
that's
lag.
terrible.
Yeah,
So
well,
sorry.
it was my sister's birthday, so decided to go out there for her birthday and kind of be the chaperone, if you will, in that thing. But yeah, that was my first time to New York City. Did all the tourist things. Went and seen the Statue of Liberty. Summit One building where it's like a glass floor and you kind of hang out in the middle of nowhere on a piece of glass looking down 100 floors.
Nope.
Yeah. Stayed down by Times Square, so we walked everywhere and seen all the sights. It was good, but I was tired when I came back.
And you saw a musical?
I did see a musical. Hey, that's low key. I don't want anyone to know that I actually like theater. Yeah.
Okay, we won't tell anyone.
Yeah, don't tell
That's
anybody
fine.
else.
Secret.
I seen the play Hamilton live on Broadway. It was amazing. I'd seen it on was that
Disney
Disney
Plus.
Plus. Seen that plenty of times, but now, yeah, listening it live was so much better.
I've seen it 4 times live, but never on Broadway.
You gotta go. You're missing out. How was your week?
It was not eventful, just a lot less exciting than yours, I'll tell you that.
I don't know.
Just working. I went to work. Do you know anything about that?
I don't know what that is. Like, there's those three little letters that I have no clue
Whatever.
what they mean, like JOB or
Yeah,
something.
exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, New York isn't all what it's cracked up to be. But it was fun. We were walking around one time, and there was these two, I don't want to say bums, homeless people, housing challenged, unhoused. They were housing challenged or something, and it was bad. Like, this guy was in a wheelchair, wheeling around, and he was like doing little cookies, donuts, whatever you want to call it, around this one other lady and yelling at her and saying, "This is why you're the reason I can't get out of this slum," and basically blaming all his life problems on this young lady. And I don't even want to repeat some of the things he said.
Oh boy. Welcome to New York.
Yeah, it's great.
I think we have that downtown in Denver too.
That's another reason I don't go downtown.
Okay, so week date update. I'm guessing you didn't go on any dates while you were in New York.
I did
You were
not.
with your sister.
I was with my sister. Yeah, no dates. I haven't went on dates in a while.
Okay, but we do have a crazy story that happened from your dating app.
Right. This was a few weeks ago, and I was talking to a young lady down in the Pueblo, and we never met up or anything, but she gave me the "it's me, it's not you" story, and we just stopped talking. But yeah, there wasn't really much to it, as I told you about her, but yeah.
Well, yeah, you told me about her. And then I was telling my best friend about her because my best friend grew up in Pueblo.
Right, and this is the point that you had texted me, and I said, "I think I know somebody, or one of my friends went to school with her."
Yeah. And then she started sending me her high school photos from the yearbook of this chick. And then I was sending them to you.
Correct.
And I was like, this is a crazy small world that
Small
she
world.
knows. My best friend knows who this is.
Right. Well, and what makes it weird is like our lives are totally separate, and
Yeah.
so somehow they came together on this story.
Yeah.
And I was asking Jill, I was like, should I send them to her? And but then I thought quickly, no, I didn't want to seem like a stalker, like I have your
stalker.
high school pictures and stuff. Yeah. So, but it
It
was
would
a
have been
fun
funny if you were still talking to her, but
Right.
since you weren't, probably not that funny.
one. Not at all.
Okay, so I went on a date.
You did,
I did.
huh?
With a guy that I really liked. I was really attracted to him.
Sounds promising. I like it already.
It did until he told me
What?
that he was still married and his divorce wasn't finalized. And I was like, okay, well, I've said this on here before, which is I will not date you if you haven't been divorced for at least a year.
Correct. I feel the same way. So that's a red flag and an automatic no, swipe left, whatever it is.
Yeah, you're not ready. Especially if you're he was in a 20 plus long marriage. Like I've done that and you are not ready.
Well, not only that, but are they telling you the truth? Are they really going through a divorce? Or are they just, stepping out?
You're right. I mean, this is also like an issue on dating apps that a lot of women find themselves in situationships where these guys are actually married and have like a whole nother separate life.
Well, yeah, I know you're speaking just from your point of view, but it happens on both sides. It's
Women
happened.
doing this?
If I had a
guess.
penny for every time some female said, I'm going through a divorce, well, I wouldn't be here doing a podcast with you, I tell you what.
Wow. I don't know. I mean, it's one thing to be like, I'm going through a divorce and I'm like ready to get back out there. It's a whole nother thing to be like, I'm single and I'm just going to hide my married life from you and like carry on completely like secret life.
Right. So why did that not come up before you all actually went on a date?
I don't know. I'm normally am really good at filtering this out. I think what happened is that remember I turned the dating app off, but he was
Correct.
one of the 3 that I still had on there.
yeah, right.
And then he said, I'm going to be in town because he lives in the mountains. And he said, do you want to meet up? And I was like, yeah, but I hadn't like really learned enough about him that I hadn't filtered through that in the right way before I met up with him.
Well, now that I'm thinking of it, it sounds even a little more sketch because he lives out of town in the mountains and he's somehow now going to be in your city and he wants to meet up.
Well, I mean, people, mountain town people come into Denver to go to Costco and stuff. I don't know.
Do they?
I think so.
I didn't even go
That's
to
what he was
Costco.
doing. So, anyways, I really liked him. And then I had to tell him, but the worst part is he asked me on a second date, which I hadn't said anything during the date. I knew that I was going to say something, but I didn't say it to his face.
Okay.
But then he asked me out again and he invited me to a Nuggets playoff game,
You said yes, right?
which, you know, I love basketball.
You do like your basketball.
But I said no because I felt like I would just be using him. Dang conscience. I wanted to say yes really bad. But instead I told him, I really like you, but you're not ready to be dating and I can't see you again.
You should have probably thrown out maybe we could go as friends because I do like me some basketball. I don't know. That's probably what I would have thrown out there if similar situation and if I was in that and I'd be like, you know what? Live basketball, Nuggets, playoffs. Can we go as friends though?
Those are expensive tickets. So.
Any seat in that dang house was going to be expensive for that playoff game.
Yeah, so I didn't go.
Did you know where the seats were? Did he tell you what section?
No, I didn't ask that, but
I would have went in your place.
no, you would. Well, he probably would. If I said, can we go as friends? I'm sure he would have been like, sure, no problem.
Date number 2,
it.
expectations.
Right? Right? Oy. Okay, so yeah, nothing exciting happened there.
Okay. No more torpedo tongue or anything
I did not.
coming at you for the kiss.
No, there won't be any more of that. Okay, there is a phenomenon that's happening though that is a little crazy that I've been hearing about, which is that women are showing up to dates with friends. Like they're bringing their girlfriend on a date.
I've heard about this. It's never happened to me, but what? I don't know what I would do if that actually happened to me. I'd be like, is this your partner? Is this actually a date between us? I'd have a lot of questions. I know that for sure.
This just happened to one of my coworkers. He met somebody online, set a date with her, and he shows up and she's with a friend.
What was his initial reaction and what did he do?
He was like, do I have to pay for her too?
Oh, hell no. That's a no.
No. Also, like, it's so rude. I don't know why you would do
Big
this.
time.
I feel like you shouldn't surprise a date with an extra person, or you should have asked you to invite a friend.
Right. I mean, your friends can be my friends and my friends can be your friends. We could all be friends.
If you want to just make it like a social hour, then just like let the person know. But that's like
Right.
a little, like, very rude.
So I don't think that's a date unless you're into some different stuff with multiple people, you know?
Which also I think you should be upfront about if that's what you're coming to the date for.
You know?
I've heard about women like planting friends in the restaurant. Like they're sitting at like another table, but you don't even know that they're there.
Wow. Really? So
I haven't done that.
to my knowledge, I don't know if that's ever happened to me, but I guess it could have. Planting friends. So one thing I do know about is like females will give their friends, their relatives or something, their location, like share their location when they go on dates, but I've never heard about planting friends or somebody in the... So what is the purpose of planting someone in the restaurant or wherever the venue where you're at having this date?
No, unless you were like, I guess if you were feeling unsafe or something. I don't know.
But then you would not go on a date if you had any inclination or any fear of being not in a safe place.
I guess. I don't know. I've never done this, but I actually don't know anyone who has ever done it, but I know that people do it.
Yeah, I don't think that's a guy thing. I've never heard any of my buddies
If
talk
you
about, hey, I'm going on a date. Do you want to hang out at the next table and watch us? Like, I got way more better things to do than sit there and watch my homie on a date, and so I can critique it or what is this?
I don't know. I don't know why you would do this. If you're doing this, will
Uh,
you tell us why?
and get a life. Whoever the person is hanging out at the restaurant watching your friend, don't you have better things to do with your time? Time is so precious. Why would you waste it watching a friend go on a date? I don't know. That's just my 2 cents.
I don't know.
It's kind of crazy.
Okay, I have a crazy subject for us to talk
Oh,
about.
you just got serious on me. What's going on?
Now, this is kind of disturbing to me.
Wait.
So it's something that sounds like it's like straight out of a sci-fi movie from our younger years.
Well, you say sci-fi. It sounds like something I know nothing about. I
Yeah.
don't do Star Trek, Star Wars. I ain't seen a single episode of either one of those things.
Okay, this is about AI companionship.
That's like Alexa, right? Just like, you got the Alexa speaker in your kitchen. You're like, hey, Alexa, play me some music. Play me some 90s R&B. Play me some country. That type of thing?
No.
No.
Okay, so I'm talking about. Okay, there was a recent poll by the company Joy AI. They found that 83% of the Gen Z people that they surveyed in this poll. So these are people that are already in the service.
Gen Z, that's like our kids' age,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
They believe that they could fall in love with their AI partner.
Wait.
Wait.
Say that.
Wait. And 80% said that they would consider marrying their AI partner if it was legal.
I feel like this is that one Kevin Hart moment. It's like, let's, hold up. Let's not skip over that like you didn't just say what you just said.
Yeah. Okay, first of all, I realize the numbers are high. I don't think that this
8
is
out
like
of 10.
a good representation of all of Gen Z because I believe that this pool was done inside of the AI.
Right. So
However, of all of those people that are in there, 83%
8 out of 10. More than that. More than 8 out of 10.
think that they could be in love with their AI companion.
And 7 out of 10 wanting to marry, saying they would or could be able to.
What does this say about where we are culturally
Well, I know what.
in terms of relationships?
Right. I know what it says to me. Somebody needs some therapy and counseling. Because for me, this is my own opinion, but nothing can replace that human interaction for me, is whether it be friends, a relationship, family, having that sincerity and the feelings. I mean, I don't know. And I obviously don't know enough about AI to say what's here or there about it. But I don't think it can replace human interaction.
Do you think that it could fill a emotional gap? Like, are they numbing us from doing the harder emotional work that comes with a human connection?
I don't know about that, but it could fill in for somebody that's already lonely and doesn't have friends and doesn't have that human interaction, so they don't know the difference. See, there's nothing to really compare it to.
Right. So they're saying that there could be an upside to this, which is that for someone dealing with anxiety, loneliness, or if they're neurodivergent, how could an AI partner be therapeutic, or is that a slippery slope?
It's definitely a slippery slope, but there's got to be some good to it. But yeah, that's a good thing. Is like, because AI, they're supposed to be know all of everything, right? Be expertise in almost anything. And so they could kind of like be that counselor and give them knowledge. But with every good, there's always bad. Always.
So I was discussing this with my 20-somethings because I was like, is this a thing? Like, are you guys going and like making robot friends? And my kids were like, no. Like, my kids are pretty socialized, so I don't think that this is something. But I do know real people who are dealing with this with their teenagers, that they are making friends in these places and they're going in there, but these are not real people.
Right. And I feel like I can see how that can get started. It's like, I'm just joking around when I say, isn't the like the Alexa thing, hey, play me some music. But in a way, you feel like they know you. They already know the music you like. They know all your likes and dislikes. And so it's like
You
the perfect person for you because
you
they,
train it to
yes,
do whatever you want.
absolutely.
With this, like, I think that there has to be like a parenting side of this that we have to talk about, which is that, like you were saying, that every time that there's something good, can be something really bad. And there is a really dark and scary part of this story, which is that you can deep fake anything now. You can make any kind of videos, you can make any kind of pictures where you're using other people's faces. Okay. So what you can do on there, and as a parent, I find this very disturbing, but
I do too.
is you can find a girl that you like in high school that is never going to talk to you.
Right.
Somebody, because these are boys most likely that are non-socialized,
I think so.
that are have a hard time making friends or finding a girlfriend or getting any kind of female attention. You can use the cheerleader's picture
So
and
weird.
you can make videos and pornographic videos
With them
with
starring
them.
in it.
Yes, with you and her starring in it.
Oh, that is a dark side. I mean, whenever you first mentioned it, The Wrong Missy, have you seen that movie?
Oh, yeah,
That
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
came into, whenever you're like face fucking or what is it she say? She tells that guy, "Oh, you do it too?" It's like where you put somebody else's face on them while anyway, next.
But this is really disturbing to me. And you can
So crazy.
tell it to do any kind of really bad sexual violent things in these videos. And so this shit can get real dark real fast. And so, like, not to talk about something so freaky, but I think that it's an important thing for us as parents to understand that this is like something that your teenage kids could actually be involved in and you won't even know it.
Parents, be involved with your kids, know what they're looking at and what they're doing online.
And I have a friend who was dealing with this and they discovered it on her son's school computer. So this should never be allowed on a school computer
Right,
because
don't they have
they're pretty.
firewalls and stuff? I know my daughter
would
has
think.
a Chromebook, and there are some things, a lot of things that you just can't go to.
Well, these kids are smart and they can get around anything. And if you know anything about VPNs, you can put a VPN on anything and bypass the system. But you shouldn't be able to put a VPN on your school computer.
They need to hire better software techs to run their.
These kids are 10 steps ahead of you already.
Right.
So I feel like this is a real failure in the school system. So if you think that your kids are safe because they're on their school computer, just know
It could not be.
it could be a thing. What are the dangers of falling too deep into AI companionship? Could it change the way that we relate to real people?
Well, absolutely. I think that touches on the kind of what you said about numbing yourself and not wanting that real human interaction because they won't tell you what you want to hear and they don't know you as well as the AI people or whatever it is.
So in Japan, they already have in development female robots
I heard about this.
that you can say, I want her to be blonde. I want her to have double D boobs. I want her to have,
Way too big.
you can like make her look exactly like you want and she's fuckable. So they're saying that this, like in the next few years, like you could just order yourself a girlfriend.
How does that work? Like, do they interact or do they just lay there like, what is that, TOAB?
I don't know. I don't know about that part. I don't know enough about it. I don't really know.
I don't even want to know. Again, nothing, even that part of the human interaction, nothing can replace a real person. Right.
Okay, but be honest. If your perfect partner could be downloaded and she always texts you back, she never forgets your birthday, would you be tempted?
No.
No,
No.
I wouldn't either.
No, but I don't care if people remember my birthday or not. I mean, get this. One of the best
September
birthdays.
5th.
What's that?
September 5th.
Oh boy. Yeah, I'm a Virgo. So one of my best memories from one of my birthdays is I was with my dad. We were out in the mountains hunting. I archery hunt. And so we went for like 2.5 weeks just out there into the bush. And it's always, archery hunt is basically all of September. So my birthday falls in there. And then we're like 3 days past my birthday. And we're like, man, you know what? We need to drive back into town and get some more ice for the coolers. And when we get back into town, which was the closest thing I think was a steamboat at the time, we get service. And my dad sees he has messages from my mom. And I have messages as well. And my mom, in one of these voicemails or texts, tells my dad, hey, did you remember your son's birthday? And the reason that makes it so memorable for me was for a few reasons, but one was hunting, spending that time with my dad, and also not being bombarded with 100 text messages or happy birthdays. Not that it's that stressful, but it was so peaceful, and I loved it. I was doing what I love with one of my favorite people on this earth, and that was it. It's simple.
Okay.
Loved it.
So leave you alone on your birthday.
No,
Got it.
no,
Got it.
no. I'm not saying that. I just said it was good because there was just peace. And, you probably know this too. Life is not very peaceful. Working all the time, that JOB thing again. I mean, yeah, why do you think I quit?
Yeah, some of us have to go every day.
Yeah, no. You should work for
Luckily,
yourself. I used to love what I did. I like working
Retirement's
for
better.
myself. Retirement is so much better. Like, I get to do a podcast.
Right? Yeah, me too.
Wake up when I want.
Still have a job and a second job. What? The next thing we're going to talk about. That's enough about AI companionship, by the
Yes.
way.
Let's move on. This terrible subject.
It is irrelevant.
It is to a lot of the younger generations, yes, but to me,
It's relevant to us because we have kids. You have an 11-year-old daughter.
Yeah, I also have older kids too. I have a 24-year-old daughter and he's 22 now, 22-year-old son. I think he's 22. What day is it?
Yes.
No, it's going to be close. Anywho.
This week.
Yeah, it's this week.
Yeah, it's just something to keep a pulse on if you're a parent.
Absolutely.
Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about is masculine versus feminine energy.
Now, when I hear that, I think of masculine and feminine traits. Are those the same thing?
They're different. So we're going to talk about both of them.
Okay.
So first we're going to talk about the energy. So masculine and feminine energy in dating and relationships. So we're not talking about gender. These are energetic polarities that show up in how we relate to each other. So let's start with a masculine energy. Masculine energy is about direction, purpose, structure, and action. It's focused, goal-oriented, and steady. In a dating context, someone in their masculine energy might take the lead in planning the date, choosing the restaurant. Sound familiar?
Yes, I think we touched on that. It's like, what kind of guys are you dating? Guys should be planning the dates, taking the lead.
Right. My last date didn't do that.
Next.
And moving the relationship forward with clarity.
Okay. I feel like it's an accurate description. I like it.
Yeah. The feminine energy is more about like flow, emotion, receptivity, connection. It's intuitive and expressive. Someone in their feminine energy might respond to that dinner invitation with like enthusiasm and presence, allowing themselves to be in the moment and feel emotional undercurrent of the connection.
Okay. I think that's accurate as well. I mean, you would know more than me on that feminine part.
But here's the thing. It's not about sticking to one role forever. So healthy relationships should involve a dance between two energies.
Yin and yang. I like
See?
it. Complementing each other. I like it.
Maybe one partner leads with masculine energy in the beginning, but then later steps in with structure when planning a trip. So like maybe the woman plans a trip and does all this stuff, right?
Like, if I was seeing somebody and I'm like, hey, you know what? I got this big deadline at work. Can you take the lead on planning this vacation we got for the family?
Correct.
Okay.
So maybe one brings softness and emotional depth when the other one's burned out from work, or that fluidity creates a balance.
Yeah, I like that because, especially nowadays where men and women both work, it's like division of chores and stuff. But if one comes home, say she comes home and you can tell right in her face, it's like, yeah, she's had a rough day. And so, you know what? I'm going to take up that slack. Or if I come home and I'm like dog tired and she takes up that slack.
Right. Because I think that a lot of people say, like, you have to bring 50-50, but we've really learned that it's really like 100 and
Yep,
100.
it needs to be 100,
Everybody
100.
has to bring it.
Absolutely.
It's not about one being better than the other one. It's about knowing which energy to bring forward and learning to recognize what your partner might need in the moment.
I suck at reading the room. Yeah.
Okay, glad
It's
you can, something you
but
can work
you're
on.
the one that said look inward.
Yes.
You say that all the time.
Yes, look
I
inward.
just looked inward and I said, I suck at reading the room. I need to do better. I'll work on it.
So when you hear people say, like, he's too in his feminine or she's too in her masculine, they're often picking up on an energetic imbalance, either with the person or the dynamic between the two.
Mm-hmm.
So ultimately, the sweet spot in any relationship isn't who holds which energy, it's how you understand and respect the polarity that creates chemistry, trust, and connection. But yes, there is a big difference between masculine and feminine traits and masculine and feminine energy.
I was today years old when I learned all this.
Hey.
I've just heard about traits. The energy part I wasn't very familiar with.
So there's often considered personality characteristics or behavior that society traditionally associates with men or women. They're typically learned or socialized. But in America, in the Western
world.
we have, so masculine traits tend to be assertiveness, independence,
Strong, independent males. I love it. Disagreeable's got to be one of them, right?
competitiveness,
Very.
logic, and stoicism.
Logic. That's a good one. Because I feel like, I'm sure a lot of people are going to love this, that men make decisions more off of logic and women make decisions more off of emotions and feelings.
According to this, that's true. Because the female traits are empathy.
I struggle with empathy, sympathy, any of those things.
Nurturing, collaboration, sensitivity, and emotional expressiveness.
There it is.
So these traits are not exclusive to any gender. People of all genders can and do express a mix of both. There is more of a conceptual or spiritual framework often used in psychology, self-help, and some Eastern philosophies. It doesn't refer to gender, but to the polarities of the energy. So that's talking about the difference in the energy versus the traits. And it says, think of it like yin and yang.
What? Even quoting you.
Complementary forces that exist in everyone, a balanced person or relationship ideally taps into both.
I like that word complement because that's one thing that I always say is that men and women, although they're not equal, they're different and both to be respected, but they should complement each other in a relationship and not being competing in a relationship because then that causes conflict.
Right. When you have two people with a lot of masculine energy, they're going to compete against each other because that's masculine trait.
Right. They're both trying to be the, leader of the relationship, but they both want the same role and they're not complementing each other.
Right. So traits are more about behavior, while energy is about a dynamic or a present.
Okay.
So a man can be emotionally expressive, a feminine trait, while being driven and protective, a masculine energy. A woman can be analytical and independent, a masculine trait, while embracing creativity and deep emotional connection, which is a feminine energy. Mismatch or unbalanced energies, not traits, often cause friction in relationships. For example, two people both stuck in masculine energy might compete.
Right.
Like we just said.
I don't want to be, I'm already competing against everybody else in the world. I don't want to come home and have to compete some more against the person I'm seeing.
That sounds exhausting.
Nope, I won't do it.
Two people in their feminine energy might avoid making decisions.
Avoiding conflict, avoiding deep discussions that need to be had. I can see that.
So are we drawn to people based on their traits or their energy? You just found out what they were today.
So yeah, thinking about it, I think I'm still drawn to traits because I think these energy is a flow and you can be in it for a little bit and go back to what you normally are. With a trait, it's because you exhibit that time and time and time again. That's who you are.
Right.
Those are your traits. I think I would be more attracted to traits than energy. You?
Right. Well, I'm attracted to masculine traits. It's taken me forever to figure this out. like just learning about it in the last
The
couple
last
years.
more of the last few months.
Right, that's true. I've had my eyes open to a few things that I was like,
My pleasure.
thanks. Okay, so this brings us to something that's also like a real hot topic, which is talking about toxic masculinity, which I know you love.
I love that hot
you
button.
love this term.
Well, for the reason is I don't believe masculinity is toxic. I mean, true masculinity is needed and it's not toxic. It's a good thing and we need it.
Okay, so let me tell you what the definition of it is.
Okay.
And then why people are pointing it out. Okay. So it refers to a cultural concept that enforces a narrow, traditional norms of male behavior, typically emphasizing dominance, emotional suppression, aggression, and the rejection of traits that are seen as feminine.
See, that doesn't sound like masculinity to me. I don't know.
I think this is
The lack
men
of.
that are behaving badly.
This sounds like the lack of masculinity.
It's not an indictment of masculinity itself, but rather of harmful expectations placed on men that can negatively impact both them and others. So the first one is emotional suppression and intimacy barriers. So men are taught, which we've learned from you, to repress your emotions, and you may struggle with vulnerability, making it difficult to form deep emotional and available relationship. Women crave this. I'm telling you, that's how they feel close to you.
You always want what you don't have, and then you'll learn that, man, I don't like that when you get it.
I don't know.
Okay.
So your partners, regardless of the gender, can misinterpret emotional unavailability as disinterest, leading to communication breakdowns. So I think, was it this episode that you told the story about the girl who thought that you should be more upset?
Oh, it was.
Have we told that before?
Yes.
I can't remember.
I believe so. Yeah, there was a story that I was saying that, and I believe I did say it. I was dating this young lady, and she commented that I'm like a robot because I don't show a lot of emotion. We were having a disagreement, and I'm not the type that wants to raise my voice. If I feel like I need to raise my voice to be heard, there's bigger issues than that. So I sit there and I listen, and she's like screaming at the top of her lungs and, doing all these gyrations, with her hands and stuff, acting it out, as I would say. And so I'm just sitting there and taking it all in and listening. So I listen to respond, just don't listen to listen. Or whatever it is. What's that saying? Anyway, she tells me, you don't even care. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm letting you speak, and then I'm going to respond. And I said, well, why do you say I don't care? What kind of actions on my end would that look like to show you that I cared? And she goes, passion, like being energetic, raising your voice. And I was like, well, that sounds a lot like crazy to me. But she took it as because I was calm and collective and in control of my emotions and myself, that I didn't care. I was a robot just going through steps.
She wanted you to like show some passion about it.
That's not me, especially in a disagreement. Why am I going to? Yeah, I say that for myself, but I think that should go for everybody. You can have an argument, you can have disagreements, but you can also respect the person that you're having these disagreements with at the same time. And if you have to raise your voice to the person you're having an argument with, that's not respect. If I'm yelling, if you and I are having a disagreement about something and I start yelling, that's not me respecting you.
Well, this is a good little segue to all the messages I've been getting about how can I just not want to throttle you on this show when you talk?
That just sounds like somebody that's not in control of their emotions or their being themselves.
I understand that you guys want me to be mad at him.
For what? I'm a good person. I'm easy to talk to.
I know. Just because you disagree with his opinions doesn't mean that I have to fight him.
No.
And that's the whole reason that we're doing this podcast, so that I can show you that you can have discussions.
Right.
Maybe you don't like what I'm saying back to him. I'm never going to change his mind.
No. I do have an open mind, and I'm always up for learning different things, but
And we've learned plenty from each other.
We have.
And we have never once had a fight about it.
I don't feel, in all our discussions about this, I don't feel like either one of us has really ever had to raise our voice to be heard.
No.
We need to bring back respect. It's okay to have different opinions, different ideas, and still respect and be able to be friends and talk to people that have those different ideas and opinions. Now, we talked about toxic masculinity. I've never heard the buzzwords, or is there such a thing as feminine, toxic femininity?
There actually is.
I've never heard of it.
I've never heard anyone say it, but there is a term of toxic femininity.
I can't wait for the definition of this or description.
So, toxic femininity refers to cultural expectations placed on women that promote passivity, emotional manipulation, self-sacrifice, or the idea that a woman's value lies primarily in her beauty, her nurturing, or her ability to please others.
Manipulation. So if a female is manipulating toxic femininity?
Hold.
Or is that to the female?
Hold on.
Okay.
So like toxic masculinity, it's not about femininity itself being bad. It's about narrow roles and pressures that harm both women and the people around them. So the manipulation thing is like you're relying on guilt, you're withholding affection, or playing helpless instead of expressing your needs openly.
Playing the victim.
Yes.
That is toxic femininity.
Like if I say, I guess you don't love me then because you're not going to buy me this Louis Vuitton bag.
Got you. Okay.
I would never say that.
No, that didn't sound anything like you. Surprised you even knew what that was.
I barely know what it is. So that's like if you set a boundary, like you like tell a woman like, no, we're not going to do that. And she's like, well, I guess you don't love me. Right? Like,
no, we don't have the money. We're not getting the LV bag for you.
Right.
I guess you don't love me. Oh, okay. That's toxic femininity.
That's
got you.
manipulating a situation. Like,
Okay.
where you could go, well, no, of course I love you. But
Now I got to play to her
Right.
victimness.
this one, which I think is interesting, is like self-erasure and martyrdom. So always putting others, people's needs first and expecting praise for suffering. Boy, do I know some women that do this.
You're doing it for all the wrong reasons if there's an expectation on anything you do.
You're sacrificing your mental health to save a relationship and then resenting your partner.
Resentment.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Or weaponizing stereotypes. You use social perceptions of femininity to avoid accountability or to exploit gender assumptions, like crying in a conflict to derail a serious conversation or to place blame entirely on the other person.
Accountability is like kryptonite to some people. Tell you what. But yeah, like turning things around.
Yeah. Or you're just like being super dramatic to get your way.
Well, crying in a relationship. I was like, I know some firsthand. I had a friend, female, and said she could cry on cue, and she has used it. Discussions. I was like, oh man, this is perfect. This is toxic femininity. Now I've learned that.
Toxic femininity can make it harder for women to express needs or assert boundaries. It can contribute to unhealthy power dynamics and prevent genuine intimacy, especially when it's paired with toxic masculinity.
Oh.
We all know these people. We all know that couple that should not be together.
Yeah, oil and water.
One of them ends up in jail.
Yeah. Jail. Not a good place to be. I've heard.
I wouldn't know.
I've heard. Friend told me.
So this has a how to cultivate healthy femininity is to encourage direct communication, assertiveness, and emotional responsibility.
So is that like saying to a woman, say what you mean and mean what you say?
Yes. And I think that we have to bring back being honest with each other.
I would love that. That's right up my alley. Be honest, straightforward. Tell me. I'm a big boy. I could take it. Whether it's good, bad, or ugly, just tell me.
Okay. I'll give an example. If I put on a dress that does not look good on me, and then I ask Pete, does this dress make me look fat?
Sweetheart, it's not the dress. We'll say that. Or I could try to, sugarcoat it and say, I hate that dress on you. That dress is not for you.
But if I ask my girlfriend, you know what she's going to say?
That looks
You look
fire."
great. She's not going to tell me the truth.
These-
So what's worse?
It depends on who you are. In your case, you want somebody to tell you what you want to hear so you can feel good about yourself. If somebody is telling...
Most people want that. Most women want that. But
Yes, women.
yes, most women.
Men don't. Mean what you say and say what you mean is what men want. So, I don't know. But yeah, it's funny that you say that. I almost had that exact scenario happen to me where I was dating this young lady and she came out of her closet, big closet. It's like, man, why does anyone need that big of a closet? Anyway, you got couch in there, whatever, take a nap. But she comes out of the closet wearing this shirt. Same thing. She goes, what do you think about this shirt on me? And I guess my facial expression from the word go said it all. But that's exactly what I said. I was like, I hate that shirt on you. And she turned around, walked right back into the closet and changed. And I was like, I don't mean it in a bad way. It doesn't fit you right. I mean, I guess I could have used different language and say, you know what, that doesn't fit you right. This, and this is why I say that. But
I hate that shirt on you.
Right.
It's very brutal.
See, and I guess.
That's in the Pete way. That's what he does.
Well, okay, role reversal.
Okay.
I just got this new button-up shirt, long sleeve, and going out, and I'm like, hey, what do you think of this my new shirt on me?
Okay, I can't even tell a guy that I don't want to go to a second location with him. I'm never going to say something mean to you.
Well, okay, how do you be honest with me that you don't like this shirt that I just bought and I'm crazy about? Go.
I mean, do you love it? You love it on you?
No, I asked the question first.
I wouldn't say anything.
See, you're right. We do need to bring honesty back. And you know what's interesting is about honesty is looking at these dating websites. I don't know how it goes for males' bios, but females is like, I just want honesty. No, you don't. No, the hell you don't. Any woman that says that is probably lying. Do you want honesty? Okay, see?
If I do ask you.
I will give it to you straight. I'll tell you what.
If you want to know something, you can ask him. He'll tell you.
That goes back to what we said just the other. You always know where you stand with me. Yeah. I'm a pretty straight shooter. I mean, my intentions are always good, but my delivery sucks. That's another inward look. Yeah, looking at myself. There are a few things I need to work on. Delivery is one of them, for sure. Let's bring back honesty.
Yeah. Okay. Real quick, these are just some hot takes from the week of discussions that we've had. Of things that either you've said or I've heard.
Okay.
Okay. So this one is from the first date on, it's what things are expected from a guy, but never what is expected from a female.
Right. We did have this conversation one time or touched on it briefly. It's like, for myself as a man going on a first date, I know what expectations are of me is to plan the date and to pay for the date. Now, for you as a female, what are your expectations for a first date that a man doesn't do?
I can't think of any.
So you just need to exist.
Well, I'm like, I have to show up on time.
Guys do that too.
Some of them.
I hope so. You know, that's another thing. That's a
whole other story.
Oh, I hate
We'll table that. We'll table that.
Anyway.
Show up on time, look good, and...
So you want participation trophies is what you're saying?
No, I don't know any expectation of me.
So, like, what if a guy has...
That's it.
That's exactly what I was going to say. If a guy has an expectation of sex, is that valid?
On the first date, it's not valid.
So then why is there zero expectations to have for a female on date one, but there are expectations of a male on date one?
I don't know.
And I guess this goes for the people that believe that men and women are not equal and women should receive special treatment just for being a woman.
Yeah, I mean, there are women out there who are like, I'm going to plan the date, I'm going to pay for the date, I'm going to do the thing.
There are?
I think so.
I have not met these women, but I'm also not looking for these type of women.
Right. I 100% will offer to pay for half if I don't like you.
What would you think if a guy told you that off the rip on a date? Hey, we're going half, whether we like each other or don't, at the beginning, before, like he asks you on a date, he's like, this is going to be a collaboration of where we want to go and what we're going to be doing. Also, this is Dutch.
If that's the kind of guy that you want, and there are women who want these kind of guys that they're like, I'm cool with like me paying my half, you paying your half, and we'll like see if we get along, whatever.
I would like to, if you feel one way or another on this, comment please and say how you would feel, how you would react if a guy off the rip said, Hey, baby, look, we're going Dutch.
Oh, it happens. I've had it happen to me.
I've never done it.
I've had it happen to me over coffee. I was like,
Okay,
this dude can't
coffee?
even buy my coffee? I'm like, okay. I automatically don't respect you if you do this.
Right, but you also are in the portion of people that believe men and women are not equal. So, in that case, yeah. I mean, I believe you're right in saying that and having that expectation.
Okay, can I clarify? Because all my liberal friends are going to freaking flip out over this statement. I don't think that men and women are equal. And I think that we have different strengths and different weaknesses. And I believe in the yin and yang.
Right.
I do.
I don't, when I say that, I don't mean one is better than the other. We're just different and we're not equal.
Right.
I mean, it's pretty simple. Don't go digging deeper than what it is. We're not equal. But that doesn't mean I'm better than you, you're better than me. That
Right.
doesn't mean anything.
Right. Okay.
We have different strengths
I
and
was just
different
like,
weaknesses.
oh, I can't wait to get the phone calls about this one. Correct. I think we bring different things
absolutely.
to the table.
Absolutely. And this goes back to where a healthy relationship, men and women complement each other.
Correct.
Because we are not equal. We're not the same. We have different strengths and different weaknesses. And a perfect partnership, or whatever you want to say, is the harmony is in complementing each other.
Mm-hmm. And I think that even if you're a super masculine woman and you want to find a super masculine guy, like you can make that work too, because they're out there.
I mean, yeah, you can find one, but is he looking, that super masculine man, is he looking for a
feminine man?
Oh, you
Did I
said
say masculine?
Yeah, you said
Oh,
masculine.
my bad.
Yeah, no, yeah, you can find a feminine man and you can make that work. You'll be taking that leadership role.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that we're sort of pushing over to a lot of women having a lot more masculine traits and energies where they're taking the lead on a lot of things.
Right, being assertive.
But I think that this is also sort of what has like given us the issues that we have today with just everything's out of balance.
Yes, I believe that 100%.
And I think that this is why dating has become so impossible.
It feels like almost like females feel like they have to compete against males to be respected, and I don't believe that's the case. And that's where this imbalance comes from, is women displaying these masculine traits and wanting to compete up against men.
Okay, last little hot take is if a woman says like, okay, we'll just say this is like in your bio for your dating app or something. You're like, I want a man to help me with my yard work or landscaping or pull my weeds or clean out my gutters, whatever. I don't know if you would say this on a dating app.
No, you do.
Because most guys would be like,
I have seen where I want help, looking after my kids, kind of like that type of thing.
Like, I'm looking for a baby daddy.
Yes, I'm looking for a stepdaddy, a baby daddy. Well, not a baby daddy, but a stepdaddy for my four kids from 4 different women or men. Yeah.
Okay. So if you say like, I want someone to help me with my weeds or clean my gutters or whatever. But if a man says, I want a woman to help me keep my house or cook for me or do my laundry.
That's going to go over like a fart in church. I swear. No woman wants to hear that, because then that puts them in a box, in a stereotype that I'm a woman. Oh, he wants me barefoot, pregnant in the kitchen.
But we do it to men.
All the time. It's a double standard. It's a double standard. I hate double standards.
I just think that it's interesting that as I was thinking about it ever since you said it to me, that you're like, why is it that women can say this, but men can't say what they want?
And it goes for a lot of things that can be said.
I don't know. It was just interesting.
Right. I mean, like...
Food for thought.
Yeah. Like women can go and say, hey, I want a man that's above 6 feet. I want him having a good paying job, making 6 figures. I want him in shape, 6-pack abs. I want him 6 inches. And men can't come and say, you know what? I want a woman that's fit. I want a woman that is feminine. But yeah, you know how that comes across? Not good.
Even fit women are like, nope.
Exactly. Why is the double standard like that? Why can y'all have criteria and stuff you're looking for and say, and men can't?
Things to think about this week.
Right, because I even heard females say, I don't want a broke man. Well, can we say, well, I don't want a fat woman? Can I say that?
You can say it.
I mean, they both are similar things to be said. You're saying something negative that you don't want about the opposite sex.
Right.
But one is like, oh, okay, cool. You don't want that. But the other's like, yeah, exactly. I don't know.
I learned some stuff this week.
What did you
in
learn?
my research.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
just about, well, I had never heard of toxic femininity.
Nor had I.
I guess it's a thing.
Today
I don't
years
think
old.
that it gets, I don't think the term gets used.
I've never heard it ever. That's why I asked about it. It's like, okay, I hear toxic masculinity all the time. Everywhere you go, every video you look at online, YouTube, whatever it is, I hear toxic masculinity, but not once have I ever heard toxic femininity. I learned something today.
Look at that. Maybe we all did. So maybe this week you can open up your heart and your mind and find a new challenge for yourself. Get out there, talk to someone that you wouldn't normally talk to, sit next to someone and have a civil conversation that you
Right.
wouldn't normally do.
Be kind, be nice. Yeah. Also, let's bring back respect because facts don't care about your feelings. Bye.